All right, welcome back. Invest Info, episode 13. And today we're going to be speaking about ownership, asset, and liabilities, right? Um, Very crucial things in terms of investing. So, what's an asset? Asset uh, is cash that's inflowing to us, and liabilities are cash that's being outflowed, right? So, the money that's coming in our pocket is our assets. The things that are leaving are liabilities. Now, not everything we own is an asset, and not everything that we don't own is an asset, right? For example, if you have a 9 to 5 job, that's fixed income, that's asset, that's a job that's generating cash and inflow into your pockets, right? And many of us own, for example, you might own a car, and you might own a home. Now, technically speaking, unless you're renting out that home, it's not an asset really, because over time, the house does depreciate. In terms of you have to maintain it, you have to fix it, and we speculate that our home is going to be valued more in the future. Sort of like we speculate that gold is going to be up in the future, because in most cases it is true, right? You also might own a car. A car is also a depreciating asset. You're paying for it monthly, insurance, gas. It's a liability. Now we can transform these things into forms of asset. We could rent out a small part of our home. We could rent out spaces in our apartment. We could also rent our car. We could also use these different tools and apps such as Grubhub and delivery services, Uber, Lyft, to turn our car into an asset. If we could um, get, if we could make enough money per month that will cover the cost of the car, the insurance, and bring a little bit more cash in, now a car becomes an asset, right? And the goal ultimately is to have more asset than liabilities. If you look at the wealthy that retire, they have assets. They have cash flow coming in that covers their liabilities. Now, you don't have to be 65 to retire. You just have to accomplish this feat, right? If you're able to liquidate and get rid of all your debt, and you just have assets coming in, money while you sleep, as Warren Buffett says, if you can't make money while you sleep, you're going to work forever. If you have assets coming into you, and no matter what age, you officially retired. You don't have to work, necessarily speaking, right? Now, how can we generate assets? It could be small. We don't have to think in terms of large pictures. We already talked about owning companies, stocks, right? Stocks are assets, right? If they're paying us a dividend. Also, we're not buying blindly. We're checking out the balance sheet, as you can see in previous lesson. We're seeing if our company is in debt. We want to know what the business is like. We want to know if they have extra cash and how they're using that cash. We love dividends. The best form of distributing cash really is to use the excess cash and reinvest it into the company, or the form of share buybacks. And share buybacks are good when companies buy back their own shares when the company is undervalued. You know, but our favorite thing, even though it gets taxed, in my personal opinion, is the dividends, because then we could allocate our dividend payment into another stock and grow another business that we understand, right? Now I want to say something, right? In terms of thinking small scale, right? Now, how many of you might get a haircut, right? You might go to the salon. You might, think about this. Let's use a guy for example. He spends $20 a week on a haircut, maybe $20 every 2 weeks. Let's say he invests and buy himself a good pair of clippers and starts to cut his own hair. That's a form of an asset. Buying these clippers to cut my own hair now is a form of an asset. Why? Because I just cut off a liability. So the cash that I would be using normally to go to get a haircut every week, I can now take that additional cash I normally would use for that haircut and invest it in my company. So I just turned something I owned, a clippers, to cut my hair, in a form of an asset. So there's many different tools like that, different life hacks that we can use, that we could take small things that we own, and if not turn them into something that's going to bring cash into our pockets, at least cut off certain liabilities. So that's the ultimate goal. So what's think of the different things that's taking stuff out your pockets, and how can we convert it to an asset, right? I just used the clippers for example, to cut your own hair. Or for if you're a lady, or if you're a woman doing your own hair, save a lot of money that way and generate that back into investing in terms in stocks, or whatever vehicle of investment you deem fit, right? In closing, I also want to mention this one's a bit more complicated, but we spoke about credit spreads, right? If we could borrow, let's say we borrow out $5,000, we take out a personal loan for $5,000, a fixed rate of 3%. Can we turn that $5,000? Can we allocate it into an investment, into an asset that's going to give us back more than 3%, and then we profit from the spread, right? And this is a lot easier, as we said in the previous lessons, in a market crash, in a crisis. So that's the opportune time to leverage money, borrow money, put it into an asset. We like stocks because they're liquid. After a market crash, they go on a huge discount. We just wait these things out. We wait till they go on a huge discount, and we put it into businesses that we understand that the market price falling is just temporary, and that we're going to get back our investment or even greater in a period of time before the expiration is due for the money that we borrowed. So yeah, in closing, let's try to think of ways that we could either cut out our liabilities, grow our assets, and ultimately, if you have more assets than liabilities, you essentially can retire no matter what age. You essentially don't have to work. That's how Buffett does it, and that's how I forgot this guy's, Mark Cuban did it, and other investors. All right, so signing out, and I'll see you on the next one.